Hi guys, it's the old man here, and today I wanted to talk about a YouTube channel called For the Rights of the Future Generations. So, a few days ago, one of my friends Drone introduced me to this channel. I decided to watch the first video, and wow, I am surprised. Basically, for context, these two guys claim to advocate for the future generations by specifically changing the school program. A lot can be criticized in these videos, and Drone already did that in their Discord server. Some of the stuff that he said will be addressed in this video. But first, before we go into all of that, let's take a look at their first video. Well, I was gonna originally show it to you guys. However, the video was extremely boring and pointless. Basically, these two guys point out 5 irrelevant stuff about the education system and 3 quote-unquote solutions. Some of the criticisms that Drone gave are that they are extremely biased and their sources are fabricated. Like they literally used Wikipedia and Google Gemini as a source in one of their videos. Now, once I got done watching this video, I thought to myself one thing. Why did they make this video? Because in my personal opinion, I really like school. My teachers are nice. The courses are really fun. The food is good. Not exactly 5-star, but still decent. So, when I started to think of possible reasons why they made this video, because it wasn't really properly mentioned by them. Why exactly for their points about the system are irrelevant. Basically, another way to format this question is what exactly drove them to believe that the education system is bad, and I narrowed it down to 2 things: their personal experiences and discipline. Let's start off with experience. What I mean by this is, for example, me and Drone grew up in an upper middle class area. That's why our education system is quite well. But these guys, based off their criticisms, might have grown up in a lower middle class area. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that the education system is not the same for all the places in the United States. The second thing is discipline. A lot of the points that they have is just complaining that school is quote-unquote stressful and useless, but when you watch the video, they come off as the reason why they are complaining is because they're simply lazy. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but with things that are headed right now, it looks like that is true. However, let's actually take a closer look on their quote-unquote solutions. For more context on their solutions, here are their primary arguments. 1. Schools should appoint kids to represent a reformation on the school systems by
School and kindergarten will remain largely the same, but they will teach students at an accelerated pace to ease them into the learning process. The focus will be on teaching the essentials, such as reading and basic addition and subtraction, more quickly. From 1st to 5th grade, students will have a time of exposure to different careers. This means they should go on more field trips, specifically to workplaces where employees can share insights about their jobs. For example, during a trip to the fire station, firefighters could explain what it's like to work in that profession. These trips should be enjoyable, engaging, and educational, helping students begin to think about their future careers.
And lastly, is it to take examples from other countries like the well-known Finland? And just like a guess, every single one of the solutions is too broad and doesn't solve anything. Before we actually get into the specific details of their arguments and why they are wrong, we need to analyze the acronym on how to make a proper plan, that being SHID, standing for solvency, harm, inherency, and disadvantages. The first one, harm, is asking if there is even a problem in the first place. The second one is inherency, which is asking if there is a problem, what is causing it. The third one is solvency, which is what they are proposing, which is pretty much saying, is there a solution to this problem? And finally, the most useful one, disadvantages, is asking if the plan is put into action, will it create more problems than it already has? But here's the catch about this acronym. If the argument fails in even one of these categories, the plan will automatically fail. Now let's take a look at their solutions. First up is the student representatives. They already fail in the solvency because there is no reason to appoint a biased child that barely knows anything about the education system in charge. There are simply no point. And before you say, it's just to get children's perspectives, keep in mind, like I said, they are going to be biased, and the many of the suggestions that they will give will be unflawless. Also, many schools already do that. The second one is the reformation, and they automatically fail in the harm section because there is no direct problem with the education system, and just because it has been same for 100 years doesn't mean that there is an issue. Also, the stuff that they propose is already happening. Kids are already going on field trips. They are learning basic education in the kindergarten, so that is also off point. And finally, taking examples from Finland, which is by far one of the most hilarious solutions that they give because they automatically fail in the disadvantages, and guess what, I'm not even gonna explain it. They already explained how they failed the disadvantage.
First major issue is that Finland can maintain such a system because it has a relatively low population, about 1/58 of the United States population. Larger countries may struggle to implement and manage a similar system, especially with rapidly growing populations. The second issue is that Finland's educational approach is drastically different from those of many other countries, making it difficult to adapt. Moreover, implementing widespread changes across many schools will be a significant challenge.
They have another video where they criticize every education system of each country besides Finland. They call out a lot of Asian countries like China and South Korea, and as previously mentioned, they made a very broad connection between suicide and schools. I want to specifically touch upon their criticisms towards China. They call out China's Gaokao exam for being too stressful. Now there is a valid reason on why each country has a different education system. It's because of culture. The reason of the stress can be traced back to a Chinese philosopher named Confucius. China's ancestors believed he was a genius and made it their life missions to learn his teachings and later give an exam to make sure everyone knew about what he stands for. Some of those elements are applied to Gaokao, and bro cannot just casually get rid of their culture. He also feels like the United States government is not doing anything about the education system. Well, it was a key factor in the 2000 election where the Vice President Dick Cheney advocated for it and was successful. You can literally go watch the first 10 minutes of the vice presidential debate of 2000 and see what I mean. So, I think he just doesn't realize how we change our education every day. All I have to say is that things will get much better in high school. So let's conclude on these guys. My final thoughts on them is that their movements will not get anywhere because all they are pretty much doing is just complaining, all talk, no action. In this video, has no intent of making fun of these two. I just want them to know that if they want to create a successful movement, they need to be successful in convincing people, and with that, thank you for tuning into another episode of OCP Commentary. Thanks for watching.